Hello, hello. Welcome back. Sorry for being late. Sorry for the restart, the false start there. This computer's weird. I just hit, sometimes when I go live, we just get 100% skipped frames due to encoding lag. Like 100% of the frames get skipped. I don't know, maybe. Hey, Freelansky. Maybe it's the new computer giving me grief. But restarting just fixes it, so I'm inclined to think it's just a weird state that it gets in. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Oh well. Also, sorry for starting late. I'm really trying to stream, get started like an hour before this. Like we should be starting just after 7, not just after 8. But I've been waking up late. But hopefully I can improve that this week. I stayed up too late last night, changing our tile set around. So we have different blocks now. So I added in the mirror tiles for the walls. Because we can't just flip H because of the outlines. So I had to actually add the opposite sides, and I split them up by type. So right now the difference is just color, but we've got them here. So we need to deal with that a little bit. The goal today, what we're going to be working on today is just continuing to get the autotiler going. So we fixed a lot of our system before. We hopefully fixed tile placement, yet to test it. We have our flood fill working again, I think. Again, yet to test it. We can't really test anything because we can't really display anything yet, which is why we need to get the autotiler going. I also think I need to change how I refer to these. Like, instead of calling these ship tiles, I kind of want to call these like tile blocks or something like that. Like change, like add another term, because now that a tile face is not the same as like the cube in which it is, like a tile block is like one of these top faces, one of these side faces, and one of these other side faces. Now that that's the case, now that it's 3 tiles for each block, I think I want to add a term for that. Because we were running into that yesterday where we were like, oh, a tile. And it's like, well, which tile? Like the actual tile? So we're going to call these tile blocks. They're like building blocks. So I'm going to do some word replacement here. You separated them so walls aren't a whole tile anymore? Yes, for Lansky, we've done that. So a cubic wall is now 3 tiles. And we did that because like these atlases capture all the different possible tile faces. Like all the different face combinations. If we wanted to keep them all entire blocks, then it was going to look like this. It was going to be like... This is what the combinatorics look like. Of the same thing, but if you operate it on the level of individual blocks. It was nuts. And you needed one of these for every possible combination of tile faces. So each one of these possible combinations of different tile faces needed one of these. I mean, they were all identical, but you still would need to make them and store them. It's crazy. It was crazy. So do they sit between tiles now? Not really. What I'm doing is I'm kind of layering them on top of each other. So there's now just multiple tile layers, and I'm using different tile offsets so that the left, right, and top tiles all still just sit in the same space. They just sit with slightly different texture offsets. That's how I'm dealing with it. There's no approach simpler. It strikes you as more complex. It's more complex on the code side, but it's a lot simpler in terms of asset creation and maintenance. So we just need one of these texture atlases for each material instead of needing a texture atlas for each combination of material. Yeah, so one tile, again, this is why we're using a term. A tile block, which is what I'm going to call one of those cubes. Maybe we call it a cube. Well, it's not really a cube. So one of those tile blocks consists of 3 tiles. It consists of a left wall, a right wall, and a top block. So yeah, we're just we're building them, which is going to be a lot easier. Well, it is more complex in terms of the scripting, but we get some advantages. Like already, because we're not operating directly on tile layers right now, we could theoretically build across multiple tile layers at the same time. Because there isn't a one-to-one relationship between the tiles on the tile layers and the blocks that we're placing. One complete constructed tile consists of a left wall, a right wall, and a top. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm going to call those blocks. Instead of active tile, we're gonna call it like, we're gonna say something like block type. We're gonna rename a bunch of stuff real quick, just to be more clear about what we're talking about. We should have a set, a getter and a setter. Find every use of active tile. Pending tiles. Yeah, we're just gonna basically, anytime we say the word tiles, we're pretty much gonna replace it with blocks. There must be like a find and replace tool somewhere in this IDE. I haven't found it. You did look that up last stream. There's only find. Yeah, that's so weird. Like can kind of see why people use other IDEs sometimes. Maybe you can open the script in Notepad++, though Godot handles other applications editing its files fairly well. Yeah, I could probably do that. Notepad++ or something. It isn't a huge problem right now, but we call this block partitions. We're just going through and changing the rest of these here. Tile brushes. Do we use this anywhere? Anymore? Probably quite a bit. No? Oh, just here, where we define them. Get rid of that. Get rid of this entirely. Tile history. This we probably use quite a bit. Yeah, we do. That's okay. Yeah, GD file is just a plain text file. Almost everything, anything that ends with TRES is a texture resource. So almost, unless you explicitly obfuscate it by like either changing it to a regular resource or like, I think there are some settings you can make that like obfuscate your resources, especially when they're in builds. But yeah, otherwise almost everything in Godot is just a texture resource. It's kind of awesome. Not going to worry about changing tilemap snapshot now, because tilemap snapshot is going to need to significantly change. Beauty of open source. You can see other IDEs making it unnecessarily complicated to use other apps. Oh yeah. It's like if you've ever had to use Xcode or do anything Apple related. Okay, so that's everything renamed. That's the easy part. What about this enum? You had a Maui app project for a year now. Testing it on iPhone is like defusing a bomb. Yeah, I bet. How are your projects going anyway, Lansky? Not sure I know what Maui even is. I mean, I know it's a beautiful place. Getting rid of all of these painting analogies. I'm kind of annoyed at them. The Maui one has been parked for a while. Maui is Microsoft's multi-platform app toolkit, where you can make one app for desktop, Android, iOS, all from C#. Really? That sounds pretty good. Good way to get into mobile development if you're a .NET dev like you. Yeah. I like C#. That sounds good. Sounds like a good way to do it. Okay, I don't care about renaming literally everything in here right now, but just such that it's clear what we're talking about. Kicked off a new game project. Oh yeah, that new game project with your artist friend on the weekend. That one's rolling all right, though you're tripping up on trying to use composition. Oh yeah. Composition is really good, but yeah, it's definitely different. And it kind of, I wouldn't say Godot makes it difficult, but it's definitely not like Godot is so comfortably object-oriented and like so consciously object-oriented that like I think it's easy to just do everything with inheritance and not worry about composition. But yeah, composition in the long run is probably a much better approach. Especially if you don't 100% know what you're doing. Like you don't have the whole thing planned out. If you do it with composition, you can at least swap modules out a lot more easily. What are we doing next? I think we're getting rid of this. So we're working our way down now. We did the editor. We need to work our way down through the hull, and the deck, and the layer. You're very tempted to switch to inheritance. You know that a lot better. Yeah. I was doing everything with composition when I was working in Unity. because I was on like ECS dots, like tech stack. So everything was like composition. So I got into that, but it's been like almost a year since I've done that. So I'm starting to like I'm starting to change mindsets again. Kind of just go with a more inheritance-based solution, but I need to try to keep up. I need to try to keep practiced on composing stuff. Especially because I want to make some templates. I want to make more game development templates. I want to make a code base that I can like take into different jams and have like generic solutions to things. So I need to at least build something like what Atagon has. Your issue right now is you made a pickup component, which handles the picking up and dropping of any object, which can be picked up by the player. But you don't want them all to behave the same way, and overriding functions is messier than it is in inheritance. True, that's true. I mean, you can kind of have a mixed bag. You can have components, and then the components can have inheritance. So you can have like a pickup component or like interactable, and then you also have like sword, shield, or like rations. So, you know, you can still use components and just use inheritance to give the components varying functionality. I think that's kind of just how you would do it easily without going too crazy and having like these very weird to handle, hard to handle generic components. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's probably what I'm going to be doing mostly, is like a mixed approach. Yeah, do a base class. Yeah, and then have more specific variants. I think you can get close to the best of both worlds that way. All right, so we're looking at the hull, because the hull is the next level down. At the moment, the hull just handles visibility. It just handles like what happens as we like go up and down these levels. It's pretty much all it's doing, is handling passing that information down. Hybrid system inheritance and composition sounds beautifully simple. I'm sure it's not, but yeah, it sounds good. It's looking good, thank you. That's like, I'm being very careful not to break things that we already have when I'm doing new stuff. So this is all like old. This is, you can tell because the blocks are solid. Like, this was all hand placed by me, and it doesn't have the same outline, consideration for outlines as we've got in our new system. I still don't love the transparent door thing, or semi-transparent door thing. I don't know how I want to handle doors. I could have them just render their outlines, or I could have them just render something on the floor that shows that there's a door there. I need to think about that more. We've got ads in 1 minute. We'll take a quick 2-minute break when they drop, so I can finish the rest of my toast. So I don't think there's anything we really need to do right now, except we need to add the blocks here. Need to add like tile blocks here. Arguably shouldn't be a dictionary, but it is. Transparent looks okay for now. Shadow on the floor might look cleaner. Yeah, the thing is, if I get rid of the door and I like show just like the hint of the door, I want it to be very clear whether the door is open or closed. And I want you to be able to tell that the door is there. So we might end up doing some kind of outline thing. I don't know. We're going to keep this as a dictionary for now, but I think eventually it's going to be an array. I don't know. I think it'll eventually be a three-dimensional array. But packed, you know, the typical. Okay, so we can go from the hall. The hall has the tile blocks. So if anything, what we actually need to do... We actually don't want this here. Whenever we reference one of these... Oh, adds. Quick break. They should probably be distinguishable from objects in the room when they're cut away as well. Yeah, true. Be right back. All right, we're back. So we're not going to store this tile blocks thing here separately. We're just going to store... Just want to look at it all really quick. It's passed by reference, so what we actually just need to do is just grab it off of this ship. Probably on ready. Turn it into an on ready variable. Right now we never need to reassign it, but eventually we will whenever we change the ship out. Maybe we need to change it if we reload the ship. I guess we do. But we need to rethink our saving and loading system. I want to treat that as a second step. So the deck layer, I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of like treating these as different things. I want to just have a tile map layers array. Treat them mostly the same. So in this, we would say tile map layers dot append child. I don't think there's anything else we need to do at this layer for now. This is also just handling whether the layers should be active or not. If it's highest visible deck. Floor tile layer dot local to map. I see. You can just say tile map layer 0. Because it shouldn't matter. Layer bounds? Yeah, I guess we want that too. Maybe need to rethink our layer bounds, how that works. Right now I think the layer bounds are based on... Are they consistent, or are they based on whether the layer is being used or not? That's the question. Otherwise, I don't think we care at the moment. Oh, I see. So we're calling cutaway tiles on just... Oh, I see, I see. I'll actually say for tile map layer for layer in tile map layers. Save tile map layers. Save layer dot layer bounds as point. We'll say if layer dot, we need a layer type like this. We need all right, so we're gonna have layer types as a concept. This is floor type. Enamoth redeemed pick radio station. Vibing redeemed sit down, stand up. Oh man, you guys are spending your channel points. All right. Vibes are here. And they're standing up begrudgingly. How's it going? Eno, all right, what do you want for a radio station? I'm meaning to add a chat command that lists the radio stations out, but I don't have that yet. So there's a lot of options. There's world music, there's yacht rock, whatever that is. Trance, techno, elevator, lounge, rock, reggae, R&B, pop, polka, metal, melodic bass, main character, meditation, lo-fi, Latin pop, jazz, industrial, indie, hype bass, hype bangers, house grooves, hip hop, funk, folk, epic, emo, electro swing, EDM, drum and bass, disco, country, classical, classic rock, chiptune. Lots of different chill radios, which is kind of what we're on right now, is chill radio. Afro beats, alternative, ambient, blues. You like the current one. Great. Yeah, I'm gonna add a chat command that lets you see them. You like the current one. You're killing me here. All right, so gotta mark a bunch of these as complete. I forget how this works. So these are all complete. Your pick radio station I'm rejecting, because you're like I want to pick the radio, but I also want to listen to what we're currently listening to. Killing me. Spend your channel points when you don't like the radio then. Or in 15 minutes you can let me sit back down, which would be pretty great. But how's it going? How's it hanging? You've 32,000 points. Look, I know some people are high rollers. I'm working on it. I'm thinking of more channel point redemptions. I haven't thought of many yet, but we'll figure some out. I gotta think of some expensive ones that are like worth it. Or, you know, you could save, you're saving up for when I eventually put like a Steam key on there for like hundreds of thousands of channel points. All right, so we are setting our block type before we were distracted. I guess we should call it block type, not layer type. Floor. This layer is for floors. Another one for axis. Null. We call it NA, but null seems fine. Null X. Maybe we'll call it NA. X, Y, Z. How's that game going? It's going okay. We're still working on our autotiler. I actually did some work on our jam game, our Ludum Dare game. I got the sea monster spawning in and out automatically. I really want to finish that before the next game jam in 3 weeks. Literally, nuts to you. How's it going? Welcome to the chat. What am I working on? You're also working Godot. I am working on, it's like a Star Trek style kind of FTL faster than light little isometric tactics game. It's kind of the vibe we're working our way up to, but at the moment we're kind of low level right now. We've got a stack of ships that are of ship layers that are really ugly. And right now, oh, did I break this? Does this not work anymore? Oh, I need to rename the... Wait, why doesn't that work anymore? We were doing this a minute ago. Huh. Changing something about the layer ruined it. Let me see what I did. Layer number is the same. Block type is the same. Oh, I got rid of some. I got rid of some properties. Love the vibe. Thank you. That's kind of all we have right now. Is the vibe. We're still working on them. What we're working on right now is an autotiler, so that we can place blocks, and the autotiler will pick which combination of faces to apply, depending on whether the wall is like enclosed or exposed, and whether it's exposed to like an interior space or an exterior space. What are you working on in Godot? We're still pretty new to Godot. We've only been working in Godot for about a little less than a year. Seems complicated? Yes, it's unnecessarily complicated. Very much so. All right, I'm going to set these up, and then we're going to figure out what I did to break our visibility peering system. You're working on a boiler simulation. Started 2 months ago, 10 hours a week. Nice, nice. A boiler simulation. That's kind of fun. That's an interesting choice. You're like doing like fluid dynamics and stuff like that. Door. A deco layer, I feel like we should get rid of for right now because we're not really using it for anything. Oh yeah, no worries. No. It's not a full-on simulation. Oh, it's for a game. Well, yeah. A full-on simulation is not useful in most cases, right? It's like the Frank Lance thing of like the word bear is not more useful if it can like disembowel you. No, I can imagine. I can imagine trying to simulate. Are you just doing it in maths, or are you like visualizing it too? Like, is there like a visual component to the simulation of the boiler? Because that would be crazy, like watching like heat travel around or something like that. Block type, door, deco. Normally I'd say null, but I think NA is maybe better. It's not applicable. Oh, and then here it just renders as nah. Maybe we'll stick with null. Floor X. Floor Y. Floor Z. Etc. Trying to see how a boiler works with its inputs and trying to adapt real-life formulas to come up with an approximate correct one. That's really cool. I feel like we'll eventually do something like that with power management, some kind of power management. Because a lot of this game is going to be two things. It's going to be about directing crew members around the ship, and I think the other angle of it is going to be about rerouting power throughout the ship as well. Simulation's more about what you do with the boiler. Like there will be some visual elements, but mostly stuff will explode around or pipes get rusty. Oh, that's gonna be cool. It's the idea to have things like alembics. It sounds like more like plumbing and stuff. Like that's have to balance it out so the boiler doesn't die. Oh, that's pretty cool. That makes me think of Frostpunk. That was a game that was very much about like the boiler was like the heart of your city. It wasn't exactly like a boiler, but it was like a power plant and like a heat generator and like it was a combination of things. You love Frostpunk? Yeah, Frostpunk is good. That's good stuff. I need to play that. Got a beefy new computer rig and I kind of want to play that game in like 4K. Kind of just stare at it. Okay, so what did we do that broke things? Oh, it's in here. We broke this. So let's fix it. Do we want these layers? We want like an array of tile map layer. I mean, it wouldn't be on ready. We're not talking about an on ready variable anymore. We still need something like this, like an array of these things. Yeah, or otherwise we're iterating through the list all the time. Better to just cache the layers that we want. Probably. Makes you think of the board game Factory Fun. I have not played that board game. When you got some free time in the winter for Christmas for 4 days, you'd spend 14, 15 hours playing that religiously. Yeah. You stopped because you started college again. Oh, that's nice. That's good to do. But yeah, I can see how that's a major sink of your time. Game you're working on will have some other elements. It's also a story. You don't want to spoil too much. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Join the Discord if you want to. It's a really small Discord right now. We're still building our community up. We only really started streaming this year. But yeah, I love to keep up with people's development. And there's a few Godot developers in there to like help with troubleshooting. I should make like a troubleshooting channel. Only just for myself. I'm not gonna do this yet. I'm gonna say something like for layer in tile map layers say if layer dot block type is block. Oh, you don't know about this. I need to make like a global enum here. I can just use it. Right now I'm like copying this enum over everywhere that uses it, which is not good. No rush. Get a troubleshooting channel up. You'll abuse that. Okay, good. Yeah, I'd like to get a little more activity in there. That would be good. That would be a good way to do it. Did I just make like something that's like a global block type thing? It would be like we make a script. Call it block. And inherits. Oh, that's the thing, is it doesn't really need to inherit anything. Object. I guess it doesn't need to maybe necessarily inherit anything. Did I make it? Did I create it? Is it in scenes? Because it always ends up in scenes. Yeah, there it is. Last name block. Can I do it like this? Can I just have a block enum and then use this everywhere? Not the biggest enum enjoyer. So can I say something like block dot type dot floor? Then I don't have to define it everywhere I use it. Then how do I, if I'm typing it? Gotta give the missus a lift if you're not back before I'm off. Have a good rest of the stream and a good day. All. Thank you for Lansky. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate that. Yeah, that does seem to be how you do it. I just made an empty script with a class name and then put my enum in there. So now anything can use it as long as I invoke the class name. Okay, seems like a okay way to do it. Doesn't seem great, but it sounds like it'll work. Then I don't have to maintain this enum everywhere I use it. That should fix itself. Now I just gotta add type. This should work. Oh, I see. No, this should be fine. Oh, I need to change the function. Block is block.type. this is a little sleepy for me. Okay, this is similar, but I like this one a lot better. Ads. Take the opportunity for a stretch break here. I appreciate the follow, literally. Okay, so ship deck is broken. That's the other compiler error we're getting. Yeah, because this. So we'd say if layer dot. Oh, we need to go into the layer real quick. Get rid of this. If I want to do the axis as well, should I just make a separate one that's axis? No, I should probably just have something like... Maybe I do something... Maybe I change this to say enum block. Like this. I don't know if you have chat alerts or not, letting you know I follow. No, yeah, sorry. I shouted it out very briefly while we were during ads. I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited. No, I appreciate the follow. We're pretty new to streaming. We still don't have all the alerts and stuff set up. I need to work on that. Did you start game dev 1 year ago or when? Depends on what you mean. The Godot version of this game got started in February of this year. I prototyped a bunch of different versions of it that were all very, very different kinds of games, but I would say they're in a continuum. But I did that for a few years in Unity under the Dots ECS tech stack. I started using Unity. Let's see. 2009 is when I started dabbling in game development, I think. Yeah, 2009. I started in Unity, doing just hobbyist stuff. But this current version of the game is from February. Oops. X, Y, Z. I have some experience. I've never shipped anything. I didn't really have what it took in terms of like discipline and like willpower and stuff. I was always distracted. I was always working like odd jobs and stuff. And I did not do what needed to be done really to make this happen. Okay, so we have like a global class enums, which is going to have our different enum. The enums that we use across multiple... That's what we're going to do. Is that the best way to do it? Probably not. Is it the way we're going to do it? Yes. Let's go fix everything that we just broke again. Enums.block. Personally, you tried every year for the last 2-3 years, always gave up when trying to learn Unity until you decided this is the year to actually do it, even if you didn't know how to do anything. Well, you picked a good one with Godot. I think for an individual, for a solo developer, you really can't do better than Godot. I genuinely believe that. As someone who used Unity for a long time and used different versions of Unity, like I've used game object Unity, I've used the ECS dots version of Unity. I'm also working in 2D, which helps a lot. Unity really is not comparable for 2D development. It's fine. There's plenty of people that make 2D games in Unity, but I think if you're doing it by yourself and you're learning, I think you really can't do better than Godot. I have never used Game Maker, so maybe Game Maker is better for that, but I think Godot is so good. I'm so happy to be in Godot. Yeah, they seem to remember its values, which is nice. Oh, I got rid of the deco. How long does this take to update? So it still says door. You love that Godot is more fluid. Even the explanations on how to do stuff, it's much clearer. The community is big and helpful. Yeah, the community is great. I think it's the community grew a lot at the end of last year. I think it's awesome. There we go. All right, so back to the deck. So here we say for layer and tile map layers, we can say if layer dot block type. That's what we call it, right? Block type, yeah. If layer dot block type is items block dot wall or I could do this as bit flags if I want to mix them together. I just need to organize them a little differently if I want to do that. But that doesn't seem super necessary. But maybe we want to do that instead of doing it this way. So if it's the right block type, we're gonna basically say layer dot, what did we call this? Restore tiles. Okay, layer dot restore tiles. Actually, we don't care about the block type in this one. We'd just restore all the tiles for this specific instance. But down here, we would say for layer, this is where we would say if layer dot block type Okay, that should work. Did we restore functionality? No. Yeah, let's try to restore the function of this. Kind of probably is kind of the last thing we do today. Depending on how long it takes. Ship layers. So I certainly broke something here. I'm gonna figure out what. This checking ship layer 0 dot local to map might be not good. It should be fine. It shouldn't matter which. Yeah, they're all the same. All the same. Oh, that shouldn't matter. This broke here because I broke the layer numbers here specifically somehow. Okay. So this just needs to be 0, 1, 2, 3. Floor. Wall. Door. Echo. Okay, so I just need to fix this. It's because I reset their properties. They lost the properties I assigned them here. Kind of interesting to see if I can actually keep this working while I'm changing it. Maybe that did it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so this is how our visibility system works right now. Lets you peer into these ship layers. So you can look into your ship. Definitely need some refinements. The doors stopped working. That's something interesting. Oh, and this level doesn't work at all. Probably messed up some of this. What layer even is that? Wall. Deco. Ah, there we go. Floor. Wall. Door. Deco. Okay, so except for doors breaking, see if we can fix the door thing. Oh, we're also not restoring. We're going back up. We should be. Huh. Let's fix that. Oh, gotta call that function. Okay, they should be resetting now. They are. So they're hiding themselves as we go up a layer. Let's figure out why doors don't work. Is it because they have their own? Yeah, they have their own. That shouldn't matter at all. I'm so advanced. Yeah, I wish it was. So the wall layer and the door layer, the only difference between them is they're modulate. So I don't understand why wall layer would work, but door layer does not. Oh, because I'm not checking it. Wall or door. I put wall twice. That's stupid. Considering you're trying to split a line into 2 lines of code because it's too long. I do that all the time. I don't like long lines of code. So it's sort of working. Yeah, it's working. More or less. This part is being weird. Its opinion about whether a spot is lower than it or not is weird. Huh. Why is that only affecting doors? Has something to do with the restore, the tile restoration that's happening, I think. But why is it only affecting doors? Oh, I understand. It has to do with their get used rect. So I'm moving outside of the get used rect of the doors, of the door layer, so it's just resetting itself. That's not the behavior I want. Can we change that? So what we're doing is we have this layer bounds. It's based on get used rect. And we're trying to use that as a simpler thing to do here. Cutaway tiles might be part of the problem. Tile cell.x is greater than or equal to start point.x, and tile cell.y is greater than or equal to start point.y. Yeah, so it has to do with start point, so I'm not feeding the right number in here. Probably call it cut point or something like that. Cut line? I don't know. So that would be set by ship deck. So somewhere in here, we're not doing this correctly. Yeah, we're saying if layer.bounds.hasPoint. No, that's not what we want. That's not what we want. We want something else. We want to say checking ship layers 0.local to map. Oh, and then we're checking the individual layers layer bounds. That is not what we want. We want to check the deck bounds at best. Say that. I'm going to say if deck bounds. This is also not what we want, but it's closer to what we want. Yeah, so now it works. The problem is now it stops working if we move just past the ship. So if we move at all past the ship, it just resets, which I don't love. But maybe that's correct behavior. Maybe I just need to have some kind of barrier or some kind of margin. Yeah, now it works correctly. Mostly correctly. Yeah, I don't love this behavior. Maybe it just operates on like the whole map here, or something, maybe a bigger range, maybe the buildable area it checks. I don't know. Or I could even just make this less of an abrupt change. It would be fine if the walls came back if they came back gradually. I just don't like this instant change. Yeah, like I don't love this sort of deal that's happening here. The flicker. You don't want flicker in this sort of thing. You want it to be responsive, but you don't want it to be like dithering. So I gotta figure out how I want to deal with that. Okay. That's all right. All right, I'm going to sit my ass back down. All right, we're almost out of time for today, but is there anything else we can do that's like an easy win? Maybe we do, if we have the tile blocks as an array, we can slice them. And if we arrange it correctly, we could slice them by the z-axis. Then we could pass smaller chunks of it. Like we could pass smaller chunks of the array to, the individual slices, we could pass them down. So like the ship hull would have all of it. And then each deck could reference a part of it. Yeah, but slicing makes a new array. But it would be a smaller space to search. Because each deck would only be concerned with its part of it. And then here, when we're going through each layer, we would need to well, we need a separate autotiler entity. I guess that's going to be the editor. So we don't want to calculate this stuff in real time necessarily. We want it to kind of be cached because this information, we care about this because we're adding in what do you call it? Rotation. We've got rotation. So we potentially need to recalculate. Or we need to cache everything. Got ads starting. I'm gonna take a minute to think about this. Oh yeah, we need to redo this get tile source ID. We're actually gonna use this. We just need it to work a little differently. That's what we can do. I'm gonna rename it to get hull type instead of get source ID, and we are gonna add a hull enum. Hull. Null. Outer, middle, inner. The ship editor complaining so much now. Oh, down here. I see, because I broke everything. We're not getting a source ID. We're getting a hull type. So, hull dot middle. All right, so we're changing this. We're no longer getting the source ID. We're just getting the hull type. We're getting the hull type based on the neighbors. So block partition 0 is outer space because our flood fill is giving us the different block partitions. So we're going to say if a not tile blocks dot has. So if there isn't a tile block to the left, chords plus vector 3, we can just say vector 3 dot right, right? And if block partition 0 has, same thing, then this is an outer. So then the hull type is enums.hull.outer. So do I have to search the rest of the partitions, or can I just say, okay, so if it's not there, but it is empty. Okay, well then we can assume it's inner. We can assume it's an inner hull. Okay, and that's it. This is the logic. We just replicate that for each side. Then we return hull type. So we go right, then we go up, we go vector 3 dot back. We want to go -1. We want the one above it. Make sure these are in the order that I expect them to be. Right, yep. Up, yep. Back, yep. Oh no. Back is positive. We want north. We want up. Oh no we don't. Well, do we? No, we don't. Do we? I hate this. Oh no, we do want up because Z index can go up. I get tricked by Godot's Y is down. Positive Y goes down, is towards the bottom of the screen. But we're dealing with Z, and the Z is the Z index, and the Z index goes up as you get higher. Okay. Confusing myself here. Okay, so that gets us the hull type. We want to know the hull type because that affects our tile set. So our tile set is set up so we have 4 that are the outer hulls, 4 that are the middle, 4 that are the inner. And right now it's just a different color, but you can imagine we'll have different materials. Like the hull on the outside of a ship looks a lot different than the hull on the inside of the ship. And the hull in the middle of the ship, like the entombed parts that are just like wall segments, will also look different. That'll look like pipes and conduits and things. So we'll need to draw this texturing at some point, but I would rather just get this working with just flat textures right now. So we need to know which of these, and then for which of these 4, this part will be handled at lower level at the tile map layer level, since each of these are part of a tile map layer. There's 2 side layers and 1 top layer, basically. All right, anything else we can do? I don't think so. Certainly not in 5 minutes. I deal with this flickering. Maybe we start covering the tiles back up once we get far enough. Like once you're more than 3 tiles away, because you don't need to keep, you just need to hide a segment around the mouse. You don't need to do the whole thing. Right now I'm basically just eliminating with extreme prejudice any tile that is closer to the camera than the mouse cursor. Essentially, from like a, from a certain perspective. But we kind of just want to do an area around the mouse cursor. That's about 3 or 4 tiles. Try that. Can we do that really easily? Let's give it a go. Where'd my scripts go? There we go. Right now, the logic we're using. Cutaway tiles, mouse chords. Okay, so this is cutaway tiles, deck bounds.end. Okay. So this instead, we would say something like, where is it? There it is. Instead of saying if tile.x is greater than start point and tile.x is less than or equal to start point, we could say greater than. So, oh, because X and Y go towards the camera. So we would say it's greater than X. So we're just going to have a bunch of ands here for a second. We're going to try this. Plus, let's say +3 for now. We could make a rect 2i for this instead as well, instead of having it just be this compound deal. Yeah, this is the insanity I do to like break up really long lines. But we're just going to turn this into a rect 2i instead, if this works. If something like this works. Yeah, it works in principle. We want to add some padding maybe. Let's say 4. Why's the output thing constantly blowing up? There we go. This is an easy last minute win, if this works. Okay, I think I like this better than doing the whole area. You're just kind of doing a segment, in which case I think it's okay to hide the door completely, right? If you're just doing a section. I think that's nice. I think I like this a lot better. We might want to increase the margins a little bit as far as what's hidden. You also don't necessarily want the back walls to disappear. We might do a partition check and just not get rid of the back walls or walls that are exposed to vacuum. No, I guess there could be some degenerate situations that happen. Oh well, I'm happy with that. Yeah, we might increase the margin by a tile or two. Because right now it's 4 tiles. Make it 5 or 6 maybe. But that's pretty cool. Pretty down with that. Anyway, we can also make it asymmetric too. I have to run. I gotta go to work. But this has been awesome. I appreciate everyone stopping by today. We'll try to be back tomorrow at an earlier time, so I can get in my full 2 hours at least. But yeah, thanks everyone for stopping by. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.